What's up everyone, and welcome back to the Bold and the Beautiful 24 official channel. Before we begin, please hit the subscribe button today. Let's get started. Bill vengeance, Lee explains, Nick proposes. Bill Spencer makes a commitment in the Bold and the Beautiful to pursue Grace Buckingham. Lee Finnegan explains to Sheila Carter Sharp. Plus, Nick Marone proposes while Taylor Hayes tries to dissuade Ridge Forrester. Keep reading and let's talk about what is coming up in the CBS soap opera. Nick Marone proposes. Let's start off with Nick, who has an engagement ring box. Brooke Logan's jaw drops as he cracks it open. The seaman pleads with Brooke that it doesn't have to be over for them. It could just be the beginning, if Brooke can accept the proposal though. Naturally, Brooke will have to make a difficult choice. After all, Ridge did rescue her from drowning. Taylor, on the other hand, isn't going to let Ridge go easily. Taylor Hayes dissuades. That brings us to our next point, Taylor. In the preview clip for the week of August 11th, Taylor tries to dissuade Ridge from reuniting with Brooke. The psychiatrist says that Brooke has a future, but it's not with her fiancé. Then, she adds that she is not taking her ring off. Ridge isn't smiling, he seems to feel heavy. So, we will see what Ridge decides about all of this. Lee Finnegan provides details. The Bold and the Beautiful reveal that Sheila has found out what Lee is up to. It's not at all what Sheila thought. Lee isn't on drugs, she's secretly nursing Luna Nozawa back to health. In the preview clip, Sheila wants to know why Lee saved her granddaughter. Naturally, Lee will likely explain that Poppy Nozawa's relief at Luna's passing was a turning point in Lee's life. Instead of judging Luna, she now realizes the young woman never had a chance with Poppy as her mother. At the same time, there comes a time when a person is just who they are and beyond transformation. Week of August 11th, 2025. There is also Bill Spencer, who returns to the house after visiting Katie Logan at Forrester Creations. Once Bill gets home, he will learn of another bombshell. Bill swears to make Grace pay when Hope Logan and Liam Spencer inform him about the doctor's devious sin. Lee explains Bill's vengeful vow and Sheila's moral dilemma. The Beautiful and the Bold suggest a few surprises. For one thing, Lee Finnegan owes Sheila Carter Sharp an explanation. Meanwhile, Bill Spencer vows to make Grace Buckingham suffer. Keep reading and let's talk about what is coming up in the next episode of the CBS soap opera. Lee Finnegan explains. Let's start with Lee, who didn't intend for anyone to learn her secret. But Sheila found out that Luna Nozawa was in a coma behind that curtain. At first, Sheila will be overjoyed that her granddaughter is alive. After the shock dissipates, expect Sheila to demand answers from Lee. Sheila asks the good doctor why she saved Luna in a preview for next week. After all, Lee wasn't shy about hiding her disdain and mistrust of Luna. The moral difficulty of Sheila Carter Sharp, however, after Sheila gets the intel, Lee might put her in an impossible situation. There is no way anyone will understand Lee doing this for Luna. Especially after everything that the young woman has done to Lee's loved ones. So, Lee is going to ask that Sheila keep Luna being alive a secret. At least, for the time being. That will put Sheila in a tough moral dilemma. The one person that she usually turns to can't know Luna is alive. In fact, Deacon Sharp blows up any time Luna's name is even mentioned. So, Sheila will make a decision. Read this. The Bold and the Beautiful. Lee has less morals than Poppy for this reason. Liam Spencer's bombshell. The Bold and the Beautiful reveal that Liam Spencer and Hope Logan are still shell-shocked when Bill Spencer arrives home. Liam instantly rants to his father about Grace's confession. Of course, Bill will want his own revenge. Bill Spencer's vengeful vow. It would be easy to see Bill ask where Grace is now. Bill could attempt to follow them when Hope and Liam explain that Grace was taken to the police station by John Finn Finnegan. If Finn received a hospital emergency call and had to leave, it would be like the soap opera. Bill would offer to hand Grace over to the cops, only to have her disappear. It seems that Bill is in his fix-it phase. Lately, it seems that Bill tries to reform and fix damaged people. On the other hand, this could be the last straw for Bill. Is it possible that Grace's scheme will turn Bill back into the vengeful villain we all know and love? Bill Spencer's vengeance, Lee Finnegan's confession, Nick Marone's bold proposal, and Taylor Hayes' desperate plea all collide in what promises to be one of the Bold and the Beautiful's most explosive weeks yet. A tangled web of love triangles, moral dilemmas, and simmering vendettas that will leave no relationship untouched. It all begins with Nick Marone's sudden return to the canvas after years away. A man from Brooke Logan's past who still clearly carries a torch for her, and he proves it. In the most dramatic way possible by producing a ring box and opening it in front of a stunned Brooke, reminding her of their history and pleading that it doesn't have to be the end for them, that perhaps their story was never fully over but merely paused, that if she can find it in her heart to say yes they could rewrite their ending into a new beginning, but as Brooke struggles with the weight of such a proposition, her mind inevitably turns to Ridge Forrester, the man who recently rescued her from a near-drowning incident, a fact that complicates her emotions and loyalties, for while Nick's proposal is romantic and nostalgic, Ridge's heroics tug at her sense of destiny meanwhile. Taylor Hayes watches this with growing alarm, refusing to let Ridge simply fall back into Brooke's arms without a fight, telling Ridge flatly that Brooke may have a future but that future is not with him, insisting she won't remove her engagement ring and reminding Ridge of the promises he made, all while Ridge looks increasingly burdened, as though the weight of both women's expectations and his own guilt over his past treatment of Taylor are pressing in from all sides. In another corner of Los Angeles, a different kind of confrontation is unfolding as Sheila Carter Sharp makes a shocking discovery at Lee Finnegan's place, the sight of Luna Nozawa alive but comatose behind a curtain. A revelation that first fills Sheila with joy at the thought that her granddaughter has been spared, but that quickly turns to suspicion and a demand for answers, because Lee's animosity toward Luna has been no secret, so why the sudden mercy? Lee, backed into a corner, explains that Papi Nozawa's callous relief at Luna's supposed death was a turning point, forcing Lee to see that the young woman had never truly been given a chance under her mother's influence, and while Lee still questions whether Luna can change, she couldn't bring herself to let her die without trying, but there's a catch, and Lee asks Sheila to keep Luna's survival a secret for now. A request that throws Sheila into an intense moral quandary since she knows that Deacon Sharp explodes at the mere mention of Luna's name and would never approve of sheltering her, yet keeping this from him risks their fragile trust, putting Sheila in the kind of no-win situation she normally thrives in but that now feels heavier given the stakes of family. Back at the Spencer home, Bill returns from a meeting with Katie Logan at Forrester Creations only to walk into the middle of a bombshell, as Liam Spencer and Hope Logan are still processing Grace Buckingham's brazen confession of a devious and unethical act, one that shocks even the seasoned Bill, who immediately vows to make Grace pay, his protective instincts for his family morphing into the ruthless streak that once made him the most feared man in town. And while Hope and Liam explain that John Finnegan escorted Grace to the police station, Bill's mind is already racing with scenarios. What if Finn gets pulled into an emergency at the hospital? What if Grace slips away? What if the justice system moves too slowly? And he begins to contemplate taking matters into his own hands, perhaps offering to handle Grace's transfer to the authorities only for her to vanish en route, a disappearance that would have Bill's fingerprints all over it in the eyes of those who know him best, suggesting that his recent attempts at reform and fixing damaged people may have hit their breaking point. This could be the last straw that tips him back into his vengeful, take-no-prisoners persona, the one who doesn't just fight battles but wages wars, and Grace, whether she knows it or not, may have just made herself his prime target. As all this unfolds, the various threads threaten to intertwine in combustible ways. Imagine Nick's proposal news reaching Ridge just as Taylor is doubling down on her fight to keep him. Imagine Ridge arriving at Brooke's doorstep ready to recommit only to find Nick there on one knee. Imagine Sheila deciding that the only way to keep Lee's secret about Luna is to manipulate events elsewhere to distract the people who might pry, perhaps feeding Bill just enough information about Grace to ensure he's too busy plotting revenge to notice what's happening under his nose. And imagine Liam, furious over Grace's scheme, throwing his support behind Bill's more aggressive tactics despite Hope's growing unease. The stage is set for confrontations on multiple fronts, with Brooke torn between two men offering two very different futures, Ridge caught between the pull of his destiny and the weight of his promises, Taylor refusing to back down, Sheila holding a secret that could shatter lives, Lee risking her credibility to protect a young woman she once despised, Bill teetering on the edge of his darker self, and Grace perhaps unaware that the most dangerous threat she faces isn't legal trouble but the wrath of a man who sees himself as judge, jury, and executioner. The week of August 11, 2025, may well mark the moment when alliances shift, grudges reignite, and the line between justice and vengeance blurs beyond recognition, and for longtime fans of The Bold and the Beautiful, it's the kind of sprawling, interlocked drama that delivers exactly what the title promises: beauty in the form of grand romance and redemption arcs, and boldness in the form of audacious schemes, devastating betrayals, and the ever-present possibility that love can turn to war in the space of a single scene.